Hello and welcome to The Print. I am Sumi Sukanya Datta, presenting you this episode of Health and You. In this episode, we are going to talk about dengue, which is surging in many parts of the country even before the peak season. We will also talk about the dengue vaccines in the pipeline that hold promise against this disease. For this discussion, we have with us Dr. Ashwini Kumar, who has formerly headed the Indian Council of Medical Research Vector Control Research Center. We are also being joined by a very senior doctor from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Dr. Neeraj Nishchal. He is with the Department of Medicine at AIMS. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us in this conversation today. We will start with you, Dr. Ashwini. Please tell us how do you view this rising dengue cases in India, which we are seeing every year. The numbers are going up. Do you see it as a major public health challenge? We are suddenly, talking a lot about dengue these years as compared to 5 years back, probably.
Yeah, so dengue is the fastest emerging infectious disease globally, not only in India. In India, definitely, we have seen surge in cases in the last couple of decades, and lately, in last 5 or 6 years, there have been a large number of outbreaks in many areas, not
Mm-hmm.
only in urban areas but also peri-urban areas and some rural areas as well. So recently, Bangladesh was grappling with this major problem.
Right.
It was a major public health problem in Bangladesh, and also you may be remembering then that a few years back, even Sri Lanka had a very severe
Yeah,
dengue
absolutely.
sort of
Yes.
epidemic, and large number of people were hospitalized due to dengue.
Yeah. So, Neeraj, sir, can you also talk about, first help our listeners, viewers understand how exactly does this disease spread? Is there a way to prevent it? How can we safeguard us if there is an outbreak going on?
Yeah, so dengue is a mosquito-borne disease. So basically, the vector is a mosquito, which is ubiquitous as far as our country is concerned. It was earlier considered an urban mosquito, but now, since because urbanization, mainly unplanned urbanization, which is, I will say, not a boon but bane for our country and other developing countries like ours. So, because of this unplanned urbanization, this mosquito has found a foothold in even the rural areas now. So, when we say even without peak season, we are saying so many cases of dengue now. So, this is because the disease has spread across the country. It is
Correct.
not limited to metro cities or tier one cities now. So that's why we are keep on seeing these cases throughout the year. Earlier, it used to be a particular season, say, and starting at the end of rainy season till the start of peak winter, we used to see these cases. But now, throughout the season, throughout the year, we are seeing cases. Though the
Correct.
peak period will be this, so that
Yeah.
was not the case earlier. So
Yeah,
this
sporadic cases keep coming up throughout the year. Yes.
throughout the year. So we have to keep a differential now as a dengue as one of the differentials of any acute febrile illness, irrespective of the season now. And
Right.
this challenge has been seen in European countries as well. It was not considered to be a disease of developed countries, but
Developed
European
countries.
countries are grappling with this problem. US is grappling with this problem. Southern American countries again. So this is there's a very well-known dictum saying that this infectious disease, the problem with infectious disease, that in this world of fast transportation, one infectious patient can transmit any disease to any part of the world if vector
Right.
is available. So
Yeah.
dengue is one of those diseases, you can say.
Yeah. So many cases we know that dengue can be totally mild or even asymptomatic in many cases. On the other hand, some people can develop very severe disease. Some people, of course, die because of this disease. Is there a way to understand and to predict which patient is going to develop a severe disease because of dengue, and if that's possible, is there any way to prevent it?
So almost 70 to 80% of infected patient may actually remain asymptomatic. That is the
Right.
biggest thing about this disease. So actual burden may not be known unless we do a serological survey of a particular region. So
Mm-hmm.
the overall mortality of dengue is less than 1%. but because the number is so large that even a small percentage can lead to a large
And
number of
especially in a country like
morbidity.
India, where the population, the sheer size of population is so big that even 1% becomes very, very huge and
So even if it's less than 1% of overall mortality, it becomes a major chunk. And this is a
right.
preventable mortality, I will say. I mean, this disease should not happen at first place. So forget about mortality. So there is no way to predict who is going to have a severe form of disease. But like any other infection, the extreme of ages, the vulnerable population, say a pregnant person, or say somebody who has comorbidities, whether it's
Mm.
kidney related disease, liver related disease, respiratory problems, or extreme of ages, like I said. So these people are more vulnerable as compared to normal population. But we should not think that we are safe all the time. It's not like that. Even a young, healthy, apparent person can have a severe form of disease and may lose life. So it's a challenge for everyone.
Yeah. One thing that we know, which is very important to control the dengue outbreak, is the control of mosquito breeding. To you, this question is to you, Dr. Ashwini. Please help us understand, where does the responsibility lie? Is it with the individuals? Do you think the responsibility is with municipalities, the public health administrations? Who should be held responsible if there is a big outbreak of this disease?
Okay, good question. You see, this particular mosquito, Aedes aegypti, breeds in small containers. It's a man-made problem. It breeds right in our houses.
Right.
Maybe coconut shells, maybe small discarded buckets, or any small container which can hold water. Even the plastic cups, overhead tanks, disposed tires. You see, people keep tires in their backyards for no reason. They are worn out. They should be disposed, or they should be kept safe inside their
Hmm.
homes. So we are accumulating large number of small breeding sites of this vector, which is a container breeder. We call it a container breeder, and it breeds in any and every house. It breeds in parks, it breeds in commercial places. So you will understand that the responsibility starts with the individuals, with the humans, with the households. They must clear all the junk or discarded containers from their vicinity. And community at large is very much responsible for clearing these breeding sites of this particular mosquito. Now we must understand that the responsibility doesn't stop there. The If municipal corporations have to enforce, they have to also enforce certain measures. For example, they should come forward in clearing these breeding sites. If the individuals are not doing it, they can start a campaign, which can be a quarterly campaign or 6 monthly campaign, to visit every house and remove all these discarded containers and junk. We have Swachh Bharat campaign in our country. Why can't we link clearing of these larval sources of Aedes aegypti, part of that Swachh Bharat campaign, and make sure that there's a cycle after cycle? Because Swachh Bharat campaign, we are paying taxes, we are being charged taxes for that. So why don't government also include these container habitats of Aedes mosquitoes, part of that Swachh Bharat campaign, wherein all the municipalities, they start clearing these as part of Swachh Bharat campaign? That would be their responsibility. The third thing is, the water storage and disposal is a big problem in our country, particularly in slums. And in Delhi and other areas where water scarcity is there, people store that water in the vessels, drums, and several containers, different kinds of containers. And Aedes mosquitoes love to breed in these containers as well. So what happens is, due to scarcity of water, people use water from the top, and a column of water remains at the bottom, and these mosquito larvae can be seen in the schools of these containers. And you also know that coolers used to be a big huge issue in dry cities of the country, including Delhi, where you used to have thousands of coolers
Right.
in the summer. where they would stagnate water at the bottom, and these mosquitoes would breed there also, and they would transmit, in fact, starts transmitting infection if there was a infected person. And the third thing which we must remember about this particular vector, it has a very peculiar habit. It is a day biter, as against most of the mosquitoes that are nocturnal biter, night biters. It bites during the day. It takes its full blood meal up, by biting multiple people. It cannot take. So each time an infected mosquito would bite a person, it will, through its saliva, inject virus dose. So it can create a cluster of patients. One, and then the second feature is that this virus can be transmitted through its reproductive system, through ovaries, through eggs. So the female need not bite another patient. It can pass through vertical transmission. It can do through generations from mother to daughter. So therefore, vector control, reduction of these larval sources, we called it larval source management, has to be very efficient, and
Yeah.
everybody and anybody is should be concerned about it. Very, very important part of dengue management. Thank you.
Dr. Neeraj, you also want to add something to it, please?
Yes, like Sir said, it should be a social movement. It should not be just left to civic agencies only, because, like Sir said, it grows in fresh water, the water which collects in our daily using stuffs, like say water coolers, flower
Hmm.
pots. If you have thrown a cap of a water bottle, the plastic bottles, even
Right.
that can be a source of these type of mosquito breeding area. So we have to ensure that areas around us inside our house that remains clean. And whenever civic agency people come to check your house, please be generous in showing them all the area so that corrective steps can be taken.
Yeah. Now, coming to the topic of, there is a lot of curiosity because people have this anticipation that since this disease doesn't have a very clear cut option of imagine managing it with medicines, and the only treatment available is symptomatic. When the vaccines finally arrive, there would be some respite. So we'll talk about vaccines now, which are in the pipeline. I think globally, two vaccines, one by Sanofi and the other by Takeda, has already been approved in some countries, not in India yet. In India, also, at least three companies are working on dengue vaccines. So, Dr. Ashwini, could you please take us through these what exactly are these vaccines hoping to achieve, and a little bit about the vaccines themselves?
So vaccines are game changers in dengue, control of dengue outbreaks, and so vaccines are desperately needed in our
Hmm.
country and elsewhere. So there are two vaccines, as you rightly said. One is the dengue vaccine, and second is Q dengue. And there are
Right.
few more in the pipeline which are at various stages of trials. Phase one, phase two, phase three trials. Now,
Hmm.
as far as dengue vaccine is concerned, Dengue was used initially in Philippines, but unfortunately, this vaccine caused severity in people who were exposed to the infection earlier. So, so as a
People who
result of that,
didn't have the laboratory confirmed dengue earlier, who were
yes,
vaccine
yeah,
naive, dengue virus naive, basically, they had
yes,
severe.
yes, yes, naive patients. So this would cause severity in those
Mhm.
persons, and
Right.
also the it is actually alleged, I would say, that these trials were not done in a transparent way. They were not done in children uh, below below certain age. We needed evidence so that this proper regulatory bodies could have given a proper guidance for the use of this vaccine. So, as a result of that, this vaccine has not been approved by many countries, including India. It has not been approved. So, it's not in use in our country. The second vaccine is tetravalent vaccine, that is Q dengue. It is active against all the four serotypes. And Q dengue vaccine is by Takeda, and it's under trial again. And once we are sure that it causes a good immunogenicity against all, and we have the proof of principle and also the evidence that it is protective, because the claim is that it provides 80% protection, which is very high against all the four serotypes of dengue. So we are waiting for the approval by the DGCI of our country. Once this vaccine gets approval, and there are two shots of this vaccine 3 months apart, probably this will be a good armament in the control of dengue in our country.
Okay.
Then there
So
are a
this
few more.
particular vaccine
Yes.
can be given even to people who didn't have the dengue infection before?
Yes,
Can
yes. The problem that we faced with the dengue vaccine is not in this case. So
okay.
therefore, this will be more acceptable, and this can be widely used. And of course, anytime when you have a vaccine, there are few episodes
Adverse
of
reactions.
mild fever, and also rash at the site of vaccination and all that, and that is self-resolving. In a couple of days they get resolved.
Right.
uh, but however, it should not increase the severity of infection to those people who have the dengue virus. So that is one thing. The other thing is that there are vaccines also in pipeline, and one of the vaccines by Panacea is now undergoing trial in our country, and the trials have just started. And maybe we will get results in a couple of years from now, and then that vaccine is also a tetravalent vaccine and may be available for wider use in our country.
Yeah. Yeah. There is one more, I think, by Serum Institute of India, which is again developed by the National Institute of Health in the US, which is
Yeah,
also,
yeah,
yeah, undergoing trial. Then there is another which is by Indian Immunologicals, which is again undergoing a trial. Dr. Neeraj, as we come to the, we bring the discussion to a close now. Would you like to share some parting thoughts and a quick message to people who are watching this on how to, prevent dengue?
Yes, so vaccine can prove to be a game changer, but what we have to remember that the vaccine usually the role of vaccine is to prevent the severity of the disease. It per se is not going to protect you from getting infected, and
Right.
once you get infected, there is a possibility of keep on transmitting this virus to others. So the other
Hmm.
person who is not vaccinated may actually still get a severe form of disease. So it's very important to control the vector, and for that, each one of us are responsible. We cannot just pass on buck to the civic agencies that they are not doing their work. And one of the most important, when dengue was first basically came into public limelight way back in late 90s, there was very much scare about this disease. Though that scare has gone, that's a very good thing, because very irrational treatment and other things used to happen. Now the people have become more aware, but still they keep on running after platelet count and all. And many a times they insist कि no, their platelet count is low, say they try different type of therapies which are not approved.
Yeah, very
They,
important message there. I have heard people say that you have to have papaya or papaya leaves, weird kind of therapies people sometimes suggest in order to prevent and cure dengue. Do speak a
so
little about that also. Yeah.
yeah, so again, I will not comment on particular therapeutic options, but yes, as in clinical practice, we have not seen any advantage of those therapies. In fact, some people may actually develop nausea, vomiting, which may further dehydrate them, and that is what actually causes the severity of dengue, because dehydration is the root cause there. Because of
Right.
plasma leakage, because of nausea, vomiting, because of bleeding tendency may increase, in fact. So I will say, without any approved therapy, the only management mainstay of management remains adequate hydration, symptomatic treatment. If patient has fever, then of course paracetamol is the only thing we recommend at the moment. Hydrate the patient properly, and other symptoms which may happen, that needs to be treated. But at the
Yeah.
same time, during dengue season, other acute febrile illness also are very rampant. So it's always advisable to seek medical opinion before embarking for any therapy or any treatment. So don't run after a platelet count. It's the hydration level which will decide whether the outcome is going to be okay, or you are going to develop a severe form of disease. So keep yourself hydrated. Do not run after non-verified source of treatments.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Ashwani and Dr. Neeraj, for the insights. To our viewers, we have a message. If you want to hear from us on a particular topic, do write to us. Thank you so much for watching us. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.